What's up, everybody? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button to the Hoops Tonight YouTube channel, and then follow me on social media on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter so you guys don't miss any of our content over the course of this season. All right, let's talk some basketball. All right, on the Warriors front. Now, important context here is that I am not Mr. Overreact to regular season stuff guy. I just have seen too many examples over the years of teams that dominate the regular season and then struggle in the playoffs. And I see teams that struggle all year in the regular season and then beat dominant regular season teams. I mean, we literally saw this with the Warriors last year, with the Lakers last year, with the Miami Heat last year. It's a thing, right? Now, I want to be careful with this because also, if we go back through NBA history, it's typically a all-time great player on a team that is dominating the regular season that wins the title, right? If we go back, it's last year, it's from day one, the Nuggets are the 1 seed. Nuggets were the 1 seed. They won the title. Jokic is an all-time great player, right? 2022, the Warriors ended up finishing with the 3 seed, but I think they started 15-1. They were the 1 seed basically most of the season until injuries struck. And remember, Steph ended up missing the tail end of the season with that foot sprain, which directly affected them in the standings. But the Warriors were a team that dominated the regular season that year for the most part. 2021, we have the Milwaukee Bucks, 1 seed, dominated the regular season that year. 2020, the Lakers, 1 seed, dominated the regular season that year. If you go back through NBA history, it's that combination: dominant regular season with a like an all-time great, like pantheon type of basketball player, right? And so I always have to balance the reality of I don't think the regular season is that important as it pertains to playoff success. But at the highest levels, in terms of hoisting the trophy, it's typically a good indicator for you to be dominating the regular season, right? I wouldn't even say a good indicator. It's a vital indicator in a lot of cases. But we have seen teams get very close without that. And so that's the thing. I think the Warriors are they're a very long way away from being like a championship favorite type of team. But it's going to take so much for me to get to the point where I don't think this team is capable, where I don't put them on that tier. And there's a couple of specific things that I keep looking at. Even forget about the big picture for a second. Let's just look at last night. You were blowing them out until Gary Payton got hurt. Gary Payton, with Andrew Wiggins, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, was dominating that basketball game. Corey Joseph had to play big fourth quarter minutes. He shot a pull-up jump shot on Malik Monk, got absolutely stuffed, which led to a run-out dunk for Malik Monk on the other end of the floor. For Malik Monk on the other end of the floor. That's a huge swing in that game that doesn't happen if Chris Paul's out there. And if it's a playoff game, he's probably out there. If I remember correct, if I'm familiar enough with the situation, I believe Chris Paul was just dealing with soreness and was just playing it safe. And despite all of that, despite everything I just said, you still win that game if you don't make several crucial mistakes at the end, most of which came from your best players in Steph Curry and Draymond Green. And it's a road game in Sacramento against the team that's arguably the best team in the league over the last 3 weeks, who's been blowing everybody out, including 2 top-tier contenders on my list over the last couple weeks. That was a tough game to win anyway. The Kings were favored despite the fact that the Warriors have dominated that matchup forever. So, I'm not going to overreact to that game. Do I think the Warriors need to make a trade at some point? Yes. Especially now that the Gary Payton injury has come down, right? But I've been telling Warriors fans that I think they need to make a trade to upgrade that forward spot that's between Andrew Wiggins and Draymond Green. I've been saying that forever. I was saying that during the championship season. If you guys remember, I literally was saying you will have more margin for error if you make that trade. And then I had to apologize to the Warriors front office and ownership after the season because they ended up not needing it, right? But my take on this stuff is always increase your odds where you have an opportunity. Push your chips in. That's always my point of view. Now they literally have to because of the Gary Payton injury. But even if Gary Payton did not get hurt, and even if the Warriors were 10-5 right now, or something way over 500, I still would be sitting here saying they should probably make a trade because they have some personnel weaknesses and they are things that they need to upgrade. They need more speed. They need more athleticism. Ideally, in my opinion, Andrew Wiggins is on the up and up. This is the thing. There's a lot of upside here, guys. They have played the toughest schedule in the league. They have a 55% opponent win percentage, by far the highest in the league. They have the 4th easiest remaining schedule as a result. That's a big positive thing to look forward to, right? There are going to be a lot of easy games on the schedule in the future. Andrew Wiggins is waking up. 2 massive scoring outbursts in his last 4 games. So is Klay. Klay had 0 20-point games in the first 14 games of the season. He's had 3 in the last 4. That's a great sign. Moses Moody, who's going to be playing a lot now that Gary Payton's out, he looked great last night in that fourth quarter. I would have closed with him over Kevon Looney. And then Draymond Green's jump shot. He's shooting 64% in effective field goal percentage on jump shots this year. And he's barely played. Even when you're looking at the record, it's like, how should we evaluate the Warriors? Should we evaluate them with Draymond or without Draymond? Because if we're evaluating this chunk of games, it's been mostly without Draymond. That's the fact, right? So all of that stuff to me is trending in the positive direction. But even with all of that, even if they were sitting at a much better record right now, I would still be recommending a trade to upgrade specific roster groups, because I've said this. I said this with the Nerd Sesh guys today. I have my top tier contenders, and right now I have them listed at the Nuggets at 1, Celtics at 2, Bucks at 3, Lakers, Suns, Wolves, Warriors is where I'm at. But I think there's a little bit of a gap between the top 3 and the bottom 4. I think once you go Nuggets, Celtics, I think there's even a little gap between Celtics and Bucks, and then there's a little gap, and then it's Lakers and the rest of the group. All of those teams in that lower level, in my opinion, are a trade away from being in that tier with all those guys. You just now are in a more serious predicament because Gary Payton's out. I'd be looking at guys like Jeremy Grant. I'd be looking at guys like Lauri Markkanen. I mean, who knows? Maybe if the Hawks are having a lot of success with Jalen Johnson and Sadiq Bey's in a contract year, maybe you can. I don't know. Who knows if they're preferring DeAndre Hunter or Sadiq Bey in the long run? But maybe you can steal one of their wings. I don't know. But they need a big forward that's bigger than Wiggins. That's a good athlete and a plus offensive player that they can slot between Andrew Wiggins and Draymond Green. That is the one thing, in my opinion, that will push this team over the top. Way over the top. And so, you're that close. You're still within striking distance. You needed to make a deal, so do the Lakers. The Lakers' entire championship potential this year comes down to what D'Angelo Russell trade they make. The Bucks, in my opinion, their entire championship potential this year comes down to whether or not they can upgrade the Malik Beasley position, right? All of this stuff is normal for teams that are at the top of the league. The difference is the Warriors have had bad injury luck. They've had bad suspension luck, obviously, with Draymond Green. Draymond had the injury and the suspension, so he's barely played. Steph Curry randomly missed 2 games, and you ended up losing both of them. Klay Thompson was playing like shit. Andrew Wiggins was playing like shit. And you played the hardest schedule in the league. So of course you're gonna look up and be like, oh man, we're a couple games under 500. That's not to me some sort of death sentence. It's just not. I still believe, Klay Thompson after the game last night was like, I still believe this group can do special things. I 100% agree. Your core guys, Draymond, Wiggins, Klay, Steph, they are what you need at those position groups. You just need an upgrade at that 4 spot. You need we learned this in the Lakers series last year, but against the teams are starting to figure out that with Draymond Green and Kevon Looney on the floor, there's just not enough offense. And so they find ways to guard. And you saw that again at the end of that Kings game last night when Steph was really struggling to get any openings, right? So at a certain point, a plus offensive player who's also big and a great athlete at that 4 spot literally fixes all their problems. It's something that I think this season hinges on at this point. But no, I saw a Warriors fan say something along the lines of everyone's up to be traded except for Steph, and I'm like, what? Why would you blow the team up over less than a fourth of the season with the type of luck you've had and the schedule you've played? I just don't get it. But again, I'm not... There are certain things that people who listen to the show should know about me. I'm not the guy to go to if you want to hear me bitch and moan about the refs, in terms of I will bitch and moan about the refs, but not about specific teams. I'll bitch about them in the big picture. And I'm not the guy to come to if you want to have me overreact to regular season results. I'm just not that guy. I have just seen too much in the regular season in huge sample sizes to feel differently in that regard.